Paramount Skydance is laying off more than 1,000 employees as the entertainment industry continues to struggle.
Its CEO calls the layoffs necessary for long-term success. NBC4's Ted Chen is live in our newsroom with the impact. Ted.
Colleen, Annabelle, the layoffs are cutting across all of Paramount's divisions: film, TV, streaming, corporate. And after today's 1,000 layoffs, another 1,000 layoffs are expected to follow, according to Variety magazine. The layoffs have been expected ever since a merger was announced between Paramount and Skydance. The new chairman and CEO, David Ellison, says the company will need to restructure to invest in what he calls our growth businesses. A deal for nearly $8 billion for UFC rights is one of those investments. Paramount is also looking to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, a deal which could mean even more layoffs, according to Variety.
I think what we're looking at still is this has been a difficult decade. From COVID through the strikes, through layoffs and consolidation and closing of theaters, we're in an awkward period here. And Hollywood has gone through these periods before. The late 60s and the early 70s were a rough spot. And then suddenly we get to Star Wars and E.T. and everything's okay again. We're going to be okay again. We just have to get to the other side of this.
In a memo to employees, Ellison wrote, quote, "Today we begin the difficult process of informing impacted team members across the company. These decisions are never made lightly, especially given their effect on our colleagues who have made meaningful contributions to the company. To this end, we are committed to supporting all employees through this transition." In all, Paramount's workforce will be reduced by 10%. Live in the newsroom, I'm Ted Chen, NBC.
Listen. Let me tell you something. I know that they think that they got a silver bullet and that they're going to get another ET or something like that. But if it's not sports and if it's not some form of a show that's already a built product that they can invest in and that they can integrate, which Paramount, CBS, we know about the CBS layoffs because they can't develop any shows anymore. Netflix has already got the blueprint, right? Disney Plus tried to launch during the pandemic to no affair. They pulled a lot of their content library, which that's the way that they was making a lot of their revenue, was by licensing it out to TV shows and different platforms like Avengers and all of the different Infinity Wars and all of that. That's how Disney was generating revenue. CBS, Paramount, they're trying to buy product libraries, and basically product is key, but also they have not been able to break into the streaming wars. And I know a lot of people want to blame this also on AI. It's not. I think that the tides are shifting the same way that we shifted away from newspapers, the same way that we shifted away from physical albums. People are shifting away from entire libraries like Paramount. And so Paramount and these other companies have not been able to make a hit. They have not been able to sustain based off of their product library, which is why they're trying to add to more product library. I would be very skeptical in investing in this, and we're going to go over this on the Patreon. I would be very skeptical of, what their product strategy is. One thing that they're going to try to do is they're going to try to lay off more people if they were able to buy Warner Brothers catalog, which they got to compete with Netflix and Comcast for. If they got to do that, then what's going to happen is I think that they're going to lose out because an all cash deal or a Netflix stock deal or something like that is going to be a lot more appealing to Warner Brothers than Paramount. But Paramount is basically a production house at this point, and they can't make any hit shows. Where I see the industry going is not just only streaming, but for people and companies that have already built a platform that they can license out to, and then they can put those products on things like CBS and things like that. We also know that Netflix is about to get into putting out podcasts, visual podcasts, in addition to the podcasts where people are just talking. I never really care for the one where people are just talking. I think that you need to see the person. I've largely believed that for years before it even became popularized. And I think that you're going to have to develop a product and then license it out. I think that that's what's going to happen over at Disney, ESPN. They're holding on to certain people. We see that they continue to cull the ranks. Molly Qerim was recently released. We don't know why, just somehow, some way she just recently released. Fox Sports, they having problems. But then at the same time, you see the growth of individual podcasts that's also financed by bigger companies like gambling companies, in which I would never take any gambling money. But I think that the industry is going to continue to contract. And we've already known that this was going to happen a long time ago. What also they're trying to do is they're trying to buy those product libraries and then mix in, and I always like to use this word, synergies, while getting rid of redundancy. Redundancy is, hey, listen, I got this team of people that's doing this over here, and then that company got that team of people. But if I buy your product library, I don't still need your team. I just need the library. And then we gonna continue to do whatever it is that we do over here. I think that we need an innovative approach, and you need innovative CEOs that can actually bring these companies out of bankruptcy or create a new company or a new wave or a new level of technology that allow for them to continue to survive and then bring value back to the shareholders. And make no mistake about it, the shareholders are and will be and forever will be the most important thing. So you're going to see a shifting of different people and different roles and responsibilities, and that's going to go away. Where the money is going to be is by licensing it out and then also leveraging your product library to continue to get a bag. But this has been a long time coming. This is not anything new. Again, they've been saying this 6 months ago, 7 months ago. I heard it well over a year ago. We knew that this was coming. So all of those people that's being laid off, honestly, I feel bad for them, but they should have already seen this coming and they should have already made the pivot.
The Hollywood Reporter says domestic box office revenue for this month is expected to come in at about $425 million, the worst figure in 27 years, according to ComScore, a media analytics company. This excludes, of course, October 2020, which was in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Hollywood Reporter points to several reasons as to why movies underperformed in October, saying it was, quote, a perfect storm of not enough product due to the ongoing production delays left.
Yep, I don't even see nothing getting released. I've been going to the movies 2 and 3 times a week just because we got the new channel. And I've really been enjoying the movie experience and just rocking out like that. But it ain't even been nothing that's been released this week in particular.
Left over from the labor strikes, a horrible August and a relatively weak September. For more, let's bring in the author of that article, Pamela McClintock. She's a senior film writer at the Hollywood Reporter, where she covers the box office. Thanks for being here, Pamela. I mean, several big movies out this month were expected to do better in theaters. What happened?
Thanks for having me. You know, I think it was a case where the movies just didn't deliver beyond the core fans, and that posed a real problem.
I love
for
Tron.
Tron Eris, which was a pretty big title,
Yep.
and even The Smashing Machine, which is a Dwayne Johnson movie that is more serious and dramatic than his normal movies.
And they put $50 million. They had a $50 million budget for the Smashing Machine. That severely underperformed. I love the Tron. Tron was absolutely awesome in my opinion. But you know, the movies just didn't have legs, and people just, I'm assuming that a lot of people maybe just didn't want to go to the show. You got a gajillion videos that's coming out on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, you know, Netflix, HBO, and they raising prices too. So it's a weird time. It's going to be a lot of changes, and I knew that it wasn't going to be a lot of survivors in these streaming wars and these movies. It's not a lot of original good movies that's been coming out either.
But it still only took in $11 million, which is the worst. I think it's the worst, maybe the worst showing of his career.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson
and coupled with the fact that Mortal Kombat was supposed to open this past weekend, but they moved it to next year.
Are studios concerned about this moving forward?
It should be.
You know, I think they've been concerned. You know, a lot of people think that since the pandemic, probably 15 to 20% of relatively frequent moviegoers have not returned to their movie-going habits. So they've learned to live with this roller coaster ride, but the strikes, you know, added further delays. Next year, you know, we said this last year that just wait till 25, and now we've seen 25 struggle. So, you know, I think there is still hope that next year will be a big year and a return to normal. And the good news is we've seen a lot of movies overperform tremendously.
They just need to, honestly, they just need to put out better product. It's been some really, really lackluster product that's been put out, and I don't necessarily care for it. But yes, Paramount is laying off thousands of employees. Let me know what y'all think inside in the comments. Make sure y'all tab into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'd love to hear what you guys got to say about it.